Que la que hay? It's your boy Mo Vibes. Today, man, we're gonna be reacting to the presidential debate against Trump and Biden. This is a little bit more of an edited version to where they get right into it. This is basically the must-watch moments within the debate that people really like, the best parts, basically. So yeah, we're just gonna get right into it, man. I already know, man. This is gonna be good. You know, I'm really wondering how Biden's gonna perform on this, because recently he hasn't been doing good with his health. He's not as responsive. Trump, man, Trump's just been saying how it is. You know, he's been saying everything that, like, what he's standing for in his sense, kind of exposing, you know, things. He's talked about it in his rallies where, you know, the immigration and jobs being affected and rates are out the ass and everything. So I really want to see what's gonna go on with this. And yeah, man, enough talking, man. Let's just get right into it. If you guys are new to this channel, make sure y'all subscribe. Yeah, let's tune in.
Now, please welcome the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Folks, how are you?
Bro, the way he walks, bro. Man, bro, this man is old, man. I don't know, dog. Already just by that walk, I could tell he already don't look healthy.
Folks, how are you? Great to be here. Thank you.
And please welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Body language is everything. Yeah, you can clearly see just off that who has more energy. I wouldn't even say confidence, because, you know, Biden, he is old, so I'm not gonna really say he's not confident. I'm not saying he accomplished a lot as a president, but to be a president, I mean, that's an accomplishment itself. So, you know, it's not that he's not confident in himself, but that walk was concerning.
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two, that $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24% or 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million, billion dollars, I should say, in a 10-year period.
I see what he means by that, and it's kind of like the fact that there's 1,000 billionaires and they only got taxed 8%. That is pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie. But why being taxed 25%? Like, at the end of the day, these people, they created corporations, institutions for other workers. They created jobs for many thousands of people. Why 25%? Like, I think that's a little too much, especially when you created, especially if you're a corporation and you started from ground up. Or, like, I get maybe wanting to tax a little bit more, but going from 8% to 25%, come on. Come on now. You literally said let's triple or almost quadruple what they're getting taxed. Like, come on, bro. A fourth of what they make, they gotta pay just the taxes. Taxes already, I don't want to get too deep into it, but it's already a scam, if we're going to be honest.
Child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID.
The way he's talking also, like, I mean, he's just like, I know he stutters a lot, you know, but man, it's just like, he seems like his mind is just not there, bro. Like, I don't know, dog. He just mentally, he from 4 years ago, if you guys look at the debate from how he talked 4 years ago to now, you could tell he's sick right now. Like whether it's a cold or he has actual dementia or like whatever's going on, he's not the same health-wise how he was in his last presidential debate. Not at all. You could see a big difference, especially in his voice. It sounds very raspy.
Eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
What the hell just happened there?
President Biden, President Trump.
Bro, he couldn't even get a single sentence out. Nah, bro. This is the first minute of the debate, and this is how he's starting. I hope this was just a little stumble, and then he could pick it up. Because if this is how he's gonna be throughout this whole debate, oh, Joe Biden lost already. But there's a second debate still, and still the beginning. So I'm gonna give him a pass.
For what I've been able to do with the with the COVID, excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if
bro, he literally lost track of what he was gonna even say. Like, bro, this is embarrassing for our country. This, like, I'm sorry to say, and it's not even saying that. Like, listen, if there was a better candidate in the Democratic Party, hey, I'm all up for it. If it's a good candidate, it's a good candidate. But bro, Joe Biden, especially in the condition he's in right now, bro, this is already looking bad for him, bro. He just sounds incompetent, low key, high key.
with the COVID, excuse me, with dealing with everything we have
Trump
to do
looking at
with,
him like, bro, what is this man on?
Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame what's happened to our country.
Yo, he's so funny. Bro, Trump's not lying, bro. He's not lying, though. I'm sorry to say, see, I'm Puerto Rican. So I'm Hispanic. I come from the Caribbean islands. You know, as American citizens, Puerto Ricans, we don't have to, you know, cross borders or do anything like that because we're U.S. territory. If you're born in the island, you're already an American citizen. But as like a Hispanic, speaking for other Hispanics that are crossing the border, like Ecuador, Venezuela, Mexico, and then of course China and other places in the world, they're coming in at an alarming rate. The fact that almost 20 million immigrants have crossed over, and it's a lot of people from asylums, it's a lot of people from cartels, people who have no education. I'm sorry to say, but as much as I love my Spanish and Hispanic people, it needs to be done the right way at the end of the day. And I think there needs to be a better system in place to get green cards, because just last year, only a little over 100,000 green cards were approved when millions and millions of people applied. That's the problem. And I can see, as a foreigner, I'm getting incentive to go to a country. I'm gonna get paid. I see why immigrants are coming to this country. If I was an immigrant, I would do the same. If I'm gonna get paid to be in a free land, órale, that's what I'm saying. I'm going. You know what I'm saying? But so I can't blame immigrants for coming, because you're gonna get freedom, you're gonna get housing, you're getting incentives. Like, it's great, but it's killing us. Rates are going up. Social Security is being taken away little by little. Like, it's crazy. When my boss, we just had a conversation with in her healthcare benefits. Now she has to pay a little more to add an extra person, as well as one of her benefits was for a free massage. Now she has to pay for that. So it's things like that, little by little. They're taking away from your health benefits, your Social Security. It's getting crazy out here. Inflation is out the ass. Car rates are out. Bro, I have a Toyota Corolla, 2019 Toyota Corolla, and just for the insurance, bro, the insurance I pay for almost $460, full coverage, $460 for a Toyota Corolla. Insane.
Millions and millions of people coming in. They're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame. What's happened to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people, they cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. We're no longer respected. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people. What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
I see why people don't like Trump. But how are you gonna argue with that? That's the truth. It's so crazy, bro, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. In 2020, I voted for Joe Biden. I'll be honest. I'll say the truth. I was raised by a single mother. Whole life she was a Democrat. I'm not saying that she brainwashed me, but she was brainwashed herself. You know what I'm saying? And just having that mentality of what it is. And when I remember when Trump was in office, just seeing like what the news would always put out of him, and I would be like, bro, he's a terrible person. Even now, as I do videos of him visiting a lot of veteran hospitals, giving people the Purple Heart, he did a lot in his presidential campaign. And you know, sometimes, unfortunately, I had to learn how great of a president he made the economy after he left. You know, but sometimes, hey, you gotta learn. You gotta learn.
And they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you've said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades? And if so, how will you do it?
Just 1 second. He said we killed 3 people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the 2 greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world. And it had a huge impact on everything, not just border, on everything. He's the one that killed people with the bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying, and also killing our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a rat's...
Like Joe Biden, he's not even like acknowledging or anything what he's saying. Like literally, bro, Joe Biden seems like he's not even there, bro. Look at his facial expressions. He's just like, something's going on in his brain, and he's fogged up something.
People with the bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying, and also killing...
Or maybe that's just the face of when you get exposed really bad and you just don't know what to do.
our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California, in every state in the union, because we don't have borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, people are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it like these 3 incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and they just had the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This is horrible what's taken place. What's taken place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like. And we have to get a lot of these people out, or we have to get them out fast. Because
it's ridiculous, you know, and I can agree. I think like immigrants who are already married to somebody, or like if they have some type of job in some sense, whether it's through a green card or like a visa, like maybe they can stay. But any immigrant who has a felony record, I'm sorry, I think you should be deported, even if you are working. Because I mean, come on, bro, you're an immigrant and you have felony records. Like, I'm sorry, but people like that need to get deported. And it's the truth. So many immigrants coming has caused such a problem for the middle class, because a lot of the Hispanic and Black communities are getting their jobs taken away because immigrants are taking them, you know. And it's not only just even the white middle class, you know, it's just affecting middle class people in general. And again, it's going to affect Social Security. It's going to affect housing, because so many people are flooding America. Look at the housing market. Like, it's getting crazy out here.
They're going to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all. And he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half, because he's done all these great things that we did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by allowing all of these people to come in. And it's a very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Let's see. I just want to see what Biden's going to say. You better have a good rebuttal, because, man, that was sharp as hell from Trump. That was sharp.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie. Every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance, and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living right next to one of those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump?
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have.
Bro, to the point I was saying, bro, I was watching videos of when he was in office in his term, in his first year, second year. Bro was visiting a lot of wounded soldier, like places where there was wounded soldiers. He was visiting, he gave a lot of Purple Hearts. He was visiting a lot of cemeteries and ceremonies. He's done stuff as well. He's given back to soldiers with disabilities. He's done a lot, honestly, for veterans.
We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm...
And him to say, like, he had 19 people, like, basically back him up, and that he's glad that Joe Biden brought it up. He's doubling down on Joe Biden's comment, in a sense, just to prove his point that he's being truthful, if that makes sense. And that sounds pretty honest to me, because someone who lies, they like to backtrack. Someone who's going to tell the truth, they like to double down on what they're saying. You know what I'm saying?
19 people that said... It was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up, just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking. It's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general standing to your side who was on your staff who said you said it, period. That's number one. And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. And they now are their family.
So what have you done? That's what you're saying you have, but what have you done? At least Trump backs it up with some numbers, or he'll say, or a policy that he pulled. All I'm hearing Biden say is we've done this and we've done that. Well, what did you do specifically?
The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war.
That's such a political answer,
doing.
Bro.
That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right, thank you so much.
I want to begin with Russia's war against Ukraine, which is now in its third year. Former President Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he'll only end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. They think he's the worst commander.
One thing I like about Trump is, like, especially if there's something that bothers him, he ain't gonna let it go. He gonna have to double down on it real quick before he moves on to the next topic.
Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. They think he's the worst commander-in-chief, if that's what you call him, that we've ever had. They can't stand him. So let's get that straight. And they like me more than just about any of them. And that's based on every single bit of information. As far as Russia and Ukraine, if we had a real president, a president that was respected by Putin, he would have never invaded Ukraine. A lot of people are dead right now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it. In fact, I think he encouraged Russia from going in. I'll tell you what happened. He was so bad with Afghanistan. It was such a horrible embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, that when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence, that he should have fired those generals, like I fired the one that you mentioned. So he's got no love lost, but he should have fired those generals. No general got fired for the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan, where we left billions of dollars of equipment behind. We lost 13 beautiful soldiers, and 38 soldiers were obliterated. And by the way, we left people behind too. We left American citizens behind. When Putin saw that, he said, you know what? I think we're going to go in and maybe take this was his dream. I talked to him about it, his dream. The difference is he never would have invaded Ukraine, never. Just like Israel would have never been invaded in a million years by Hamas. You know why? Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them. They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything. No money for terror. That's why you had no terror at all during my administration. This place, the whole world is blowing up under him.
Oh my gosh, bro. He's just on point. Bro, he's on point. Bro, the world's crazy right now, dog.
President Biden?
I've never heard so much malarkey in my whole life. Look, the fact of the matter is that we're in a situation where, let's take the last point first. Iran attacked American troops, caused brain damage for a number of these troops, and he did nothing about it. Recently, not when he was president. They attacked. He said they're just having headaches. That's all it is. He didn't do a thing when the attack took place, number one. Number two, we got over 100,000 Americans and others out of Afghanistan during that airlift. Number three, we found ourselves in a situation where, if you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine, this guy told Trump, do whatever you want, and do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did to Putin, encourage him, do whatever you want. And he went in. And listen to what he said when he went in. He was going to take Kyiv in 5 days, remember? Because it's part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish, Kyiv. And he, in fact, didn't do it at all. He wasn't able to get it done. And they've lost thousands and thousands of troops, 500,000 troops.
President Trump,
I never said that.
For 1 minute, I just want to go back to my original question, which is, are Putin's terms acceptable to you? Keeping the territory in Ukraine?
Acceptable. No, they're not acceptable. But look, this is a war that never should have started. If we had a leader in this war, he led everybody along. He's given $200 billion now or more to Ukraine. He's given $200 billion. That's a lot of money.
And that's what I'm saying, bro. Why is Ukraine getting all this money when people in America are struggling, bro, for food, bro? Bro, I went to McDonald's the other day. 2 cheeseburgers and a McFlurry. That shit was like $10. And the cheeseburgers are getting thinner and thinner. Like, that patty is like White Castle patties, bro. It's crazy. You're paying $10. Ridiculous.
There's ever been anything like it. Every time that Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever. And I'm not knocking him. I'm not knocking anything. I'm only saying the money that we're spending on this war, and we shouldn't be spending, it should have never happened. I will have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled. People being killed so needlessly, so stupidly, and I will get it settled, and I'll get it settled fast before I take office.
President Biden, you have...
If he really does pull that off before he even gets in office, oh my gosh, bro. That's just a GOAT move.
The fact is that Putin is a war criminal. He's killed thousands and thousands of people. And he has made one thing clear. He wants to reestablish what was part of the Soviet Empire, not just a piece. He wants all of Ukraine. That's what he wants. And then you think he'll stop there? Do you think he'll stop when if he takes Ukraine? What do you think happens to Poland? What do you think of Belarus? What do you think happens to those NATO countries? And so if you want a war, you ought to find out what he's going to do, because if in fact he does what he says and walks away, and by the way, all that money we give Ukraine are from weapons we make here in the United States. We give them the weapons, not the money at this point. And our NATO allies have produced as much.
But why give them those equipments? Why put ourselves in a war that we don't need to be in? That I just never understood that. America is struggling. $200 billion invested back into America. Bro, could have done so much. We could have done so much with that. But you want to help a country that don't give a fuck about us. Like, I guarantee Ukraine's laughing at America, and we're gonna give them $200 billion. Like, bro, to a war that doesn't have nothing involved with us. Like,
all that money we give Ukraine are from weapons we make here in the United States. We give them the weapons, not the money at this point. And our NATO allies have produced as much funding for Ukraine as we have. That's why we're strong.
Former President Trump, I want to ask you about January 6, 2021. After you rallied your supporters that day, some of them stormed the Capitol to stop the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral votes. As president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution. What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world. All over the world, we were respected. And then he comes in, and we're now laughed at. We're like a bunch of stupid people. What happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't beat him fair and square.
You have 80 seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary.
And that's what I'm saying is, like, you can't blame that whole situation that happened when they stormed the Capitol like that on Trump, especially if Trump said a peaceful protest. Unfortunately, you had some extreme people from the right that ended up doing crazy shit and breaking in, doing all. Sometimes people from the far right or people from the far left can be extreme, and that's the truth. Regardless of what side you're in, you know, unfortunately, you can't put that all on Trump. You know, that's what I think.
But she's saying, oh, no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor in writing, by the way, the mayor in writing turned it down, the mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see, I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her. And she now admits that she turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up on Capitol Hill, number one. I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll now forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no. But he went to every single court in the nation. I don't know how many cases, scores of cases, including the Supreme Court. And they said, no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done. He did do a damn thing. And these people should be in jail. And they should be the ones who are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out. And now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that there could be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
What they've done to some people that are so innocent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, how you've destroyed the lives of so many people. When they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down many other cities, you go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of the they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that, they saw them coming, and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing, the Unselect Committee, which is basically two horrible Republicans that are all gone now, out of office, and Democrats, all Democrats, they destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right. And they deleted and destroyed all of the information. They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
That's true. Like, it's literally true. Like, he's on a gag order. So it's like he can't speak on certain things, but Biden can speak on it. And it's like when he went to trial, Trump, from everyone that talked to him, he couldn't testify because anything that he words a certain way, they're going to use that and jail him. Like, he has no freedom in this presidential, not no freedom, but he has a lot more restricted freedom than Joe Biden does. Clearly, it just seems like it's an attack on trying to sentence him so someone else can win, you know? But people are waking up. People are seeing what's going on. And, like, already from this, it's very obvious from what I'm seeing that Trump is winning this by a lot. Like, not one thing have I heard Joe Biden say that how he's going to make America better. He just keeps deflecting what Trump is telling him. And then Trump at least has some points and some policies that he's mentioned that he's going to do. So it sounds a lot more convincing than Sleepy Joe. He seems like he's about to sleep on this stage.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now. And the fact of the matter is, what he's telling you is simply not true.
Convicted felon. See, all these leftists, they're always going to use convicted felon, 32, 34 counts, whatever, but most of it is really, like, not even accurate. If any of it is accurate. Like, it's something so small that they try to make it sound, oh my God, he's a 32-time convicted felon. Just because you're a 32-time convicted felon doesn't mean that you're like you know what I'm saying? They're trying to make him seem like he's like this criminal when I'm pretty sure what he does in his personal life is him. If Biden did what Trump did, bro, it's swept under the rug. No one would talk about it. But because it's Trump and they want him to lose the election, any word he says, anything he testifies, send him to jail. Like, bro, they got it. And on a gag order, man, they got his ass. They're trying to lock him down, bro. And not in presidency, like, to prison.
If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now. And the fact of the matter is, what he's telling you is simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill. And all those people, every one of those who were convicted, deserves to be convicted. The idea that they didn't kill somebody, just went in and broke down doors, broke the windows, occupied offices, turned over desks, turned them over statues. The idea that those people are patriots, come on. When I asked him the first two debates we had, first time around, I said, will you denounce the Proud Boys? He said, no, I'll tell them to stand by. The idea he's refusing, will you denounce these guys? Will you denounce the people we're talking about now? Will you denounce the people who attacked that Capitol? What are you going to do?
I'm going to give you a minute, President Trump, for a follow-up question I have. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the Select Committee on January 6th going to jail. Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done.
That's true, bro. See, that's what I'm saying. His son Hunter, like, I forgot what it was, but wasn't he dishonorably discharged or something because he had like a drug issue or something like that? I don't know. Somebody put me on to that, but I mean, look at that. Like he gonna call him a 32 count felon, but your son, see, he's gonna hit him where it hurts. Trump's always been like that.
His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border. Telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. You want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
The idea that I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie, number one. Number two, the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that before. Number three, the crimes that you are still charged with, and think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, of having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant? I mean, what are you talking about? You have the morals of an alley cat.
Give you a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star.
I'm not gonna lie, Joe Biden be kind of funny with his insults though. Like he said, you got the morals of a what? Of a what cat?
While your wife was pregnant? I mean, what are you talking about? You have the morals of an alley cat.
Give you a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star, number one. Number two, that was a case that was started and moved. They moved a high-ranking official at DOJ into the Manhattan DA's office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. But when they found out about these cases, you know what they did? My poll numbers went up, way up. You know that because you're reporting it. And we took in more money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history of any campaign. I don't think any campaign has ever taken. Hundreds of millions of dollars came pouring in because the public knows it's a scam and it's a guy that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Bro. Man. I'm just lost for words, bro. Bro spewing truth after truth after truth. And Biden is just sitting there, just standing there, just... Like, bruh, what is going on with bro? I'm convinced this is a robot or some type of NPC. I don't know, bruh.
Because the public knows it's a scam and it's a guy that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you. President Biden, you would be 86 at the end of your second term. How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
Before he answers, honestly, bro, from what I'm seeing already, his energy, dog, Biden seems like he's at the end of his life. I'm going to be completely honest. Because when old people start to get like that, very slow in their words or energy, they forget to remember things. Like in the beginning, like he literally just forgot mid-sentence what he was talking about. I wouldn't be surprised if he has dementia. I think he does. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he's starting to develop Alzheimer's. Like, I can see that he's at the stage of his life where he's starting to develop like illnesses, and you can tell, bro. It's very obvious. It's just very obvious. Look at how he walks, talks, how he does things, like how he articulates. Sad. It's really sad, but you know that it goes to show like the elite are gonna do anything to keep this man Trump from winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want bro to win. They just don't want him to win. It's crazy. They're gonna have Joe Biden here suffering in the last years of his life, and crazy, bro.
at the end of your second term. How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent. I think that just look at the record. Look at what I've done. Look how I've turned around the horrible situation he left me. As I said, 15 million new jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, more investment in America, over billions of dollars in private investment in enterprises that we are growing. By the way, we brought an awful lot of people. The whole idea of computer.
He's talking a lot about all these factory jobs that he's been open, 10, 15 million jobs, right? 10 to 15 million new factory jobs, but y'all just had 20 million immigrants come into America. So really more immigrants came than more jobs being produced. So it's still a decline if you really think about it.
Chips, we used to have 40% of the market. We invented those chips and we lost it because he was sending people to find the cheapest jobs overseas and then bring home a product. So I went to South Korea. I convinced Samsung to invest billions of dollars here in the United States. And guess what? Those fabs, they call them, to build these chips, those fabs pay over $100,000. You don't need a college degree for them. And there's billions, about $40 billion already being invested and being built right now in the United States, creating significant jobs for Americans from all over the world.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds left. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would. The idea that somehow we are this failing country. I never heard a president talk like this before. We're the envy of the world. Name me a single major country president who wouldn't trade places with the United States of America for all our problems and all our opportunities.
What does that have to do with what's going on in the economy right now?
For all our problems and all our opportunities. We're the most progressive country in the world in getting things done. We're the strongest country in the world. We're a country in the world who keeps our word, and everybody trusts us, all of our allies.
Everyone trusts us, bro. We're the laughingstock of the world, bro. What are you talking about? Literally, what are you talking about? Like, I'm convinced, bro, he's not even on this planet. Like, bro is literally spewing something that he's being given. Like, I don't know, bro. How are you gonna say that when we're literally the laughing stock of the world? That makes no sense to me, bro.
We're a country in the world who keeps our word, and everybody trusts us, all of our allies, and those who he coddles up to, from Kim Jong-un, he sends love letters to, and Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
Thank you.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, Joe Biden kind of a troll. I could look at Trump's face. You could tell he ain't like him saying love letter. That's funny, bro.
Letters to Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
Thank you. Former President Trump, to follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one.
And that's the thing. Trump sounds more sharp than Biden. Like, it's very noticeable.
What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like, go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year. And, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior.
I mean, shit, look at that, bro. I mean, he took 2 tests, cognitive tests. He's still doing well. See, he's playing not only by the rule book, but, like, Trump's playing the fair game, while Biden and his administration, they're doing ins and outs, and they're playing the crooked game and getting away with it. Meanwhile, Trump, if he was to do one crooked thing that Biden's administration is doing, oh my gosh, he is definitely going to prison. Trump knows he can't do one little thing wrong, and he has to move right, because, man, they're gonna try to catch him for anything, bro.
2 club championships, not even senior. 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced him. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said they've never seen anybody ace him.
Thank you. President Biden?
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's what anyway, just take a look at what he says he is and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. The reason I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. You can do it.
That's the biggest lie. He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was at 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8.
Never.
But I have, you know how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Okay,
Let's
you know
not
how
act
many
like
rounds-
children.
President Trump, we're going to
21
turn
Let's not act like children.
You
to
are
a
a child.
specific concern that voters have about you. Will you pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable?
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable.
That's so. See, it's how he words it. Like he doesn't have to say it, but you know he gets what is being like implied in a sense. Like, man, he's sharp, bro. People could say what they want. You could hate on Trump. He's sharp, bro. He's sharp.
You will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable.
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to. And I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president, because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political appointment,
Bro, what he's saying right here is so true. It's so true. Look, first, he didn't even bash Biden. He said, honestly, I wouldn't have a problem if he won. But he is so bad at his job, he can't get it done. America is so bad, I need to step up. Just how he said, he could be enjoying golfing, going to one of his many places he owns, this and that. He wouldn't have to worry about it. He doesn't have to worry about it because he himself is good. But again, he's not a politician. He's in for the people. Clearly, you could tell, because it's like he don't need the money. He's good, but he sees that people in America not only are struggling, but America is getting dangerous. Where he probably grew up in New York, it's getting dangerous. Everything is getting worse and worse, and it's gonna eventually be World War III. It's gonna be horrible for everyone in the world. If World War III happens, everyone in the world is gonna be affected by it. And it's true, bro. Everything that he's been saying, bro, is on point. I'm trying to find a lie. I'm trying to, maybe, who knows, maybe he said a small lie that I'm not aware of, but everything that he's, topic-wise, that he's been talking about, topics and policies and things that he's saying about Joe Biden and his administration, it's just fact.
because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. But the only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him. His policies are so bad. His military
California.
policies are insane. They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
You want a World War III? him follow and win and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want. There's a thing called Article.
And that right there goes, this right here goes to show that, I'm going to just say it from my opinion, Trump is for the people and not Biden. Because as you can see, Biden's trying to enforce a war. He's like, if he wants to start it, then let's get it going. Trump's saying, no, I don't want a war. We don't need bombs in America. America doesn't need to bomb over there. Let's stay at peace. Let's find some negotiation, something. Biden is not trying to negotiate shit. He's saying, yo, if they want smoke, it's up. And that's a big problem, bro. That's a big problem. Especially if he was to be elected for 4 more years, bro. Oh my God. We for sure will be going to war. Because he's basically saying it's up for Putin. Like, nah, bro. Biden has to leave, dude.
And win and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want. There's a thing called Article 5. An attack on one is attack on all, and required response. The idea, I can't think of a single major leader in the world who wouldn't trade places with the job I've done and what they've done. Because we are a powerful nation. We have wonderful people.
Not the job that you've done versus what they've done. It's because America has supposedly the #1 military. It's not because you created that. Like, come on, bro.
The people, not me. It's because of the American people. They're capable of anything, and they step up when they're needed. And right now, we're needed. We're needed to protect the world because our own safety is at stake. And again, you want to have a war, just let Putin go ahead and take Kyiv, make sure they move on, see what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border. Then you have a war.
Yeah, Patan, bro. Said a whole lot of
President Trump, as I come back to you for a follow-up, the question was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might, Russia, they took a lot of land from Bush. They took a lot of land from Obama and Biden. They took no land, nothing from Trump, nothing. He knew not to do it. He's not going to play games with me. He knew that. I got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games. He took nothing from me, but now he's going to take the whole thing from this man right here. That's a war that should have never started. It would have never started ever with me. And he's going to take Ukraine. And, you know, you asked me a question before, would you do this with... He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine and Russia, because Ukraine's not winning that war. He said, I will never settle until such time. They're running out of people. They're running out of soldiers. They've lost so many people. It's so sad. They've lost so many people, and they've lost those gorgeous cities with the golden domes that are 1,000 years old, all because of him and stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked if I were
President
president.
Trump, the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather accepted these, but the fraud and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week. But I will absolutely, there's nothing I'd rather do. It would be much easier for me to do that than I'm running again. I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else, in a nice location someplace. And again, no indictments, no political opponent stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up my numbers and driven them up to a very high level because the people understand it.
Well, seriously.
See, that's what I'm saying. People are waking up, bro, and people are aware of what's going on. TikTok, that's why Biden wants to ban TikTok and Trump wants to keep TikTok, because TikTok really has exposed everything, even from the borders. I was watching a video of a news reporter talking to immigrants, like, how did you know about this? And the immigrant literally said TikTok. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Clearly, Trump won this by a landslide.
Numbers are, and this election is over. Let's see. You're a whiner. When you lost the first time, you continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one single court in America said any of your claims had any merit, state or local.
Yeah,
None.
it's corrupt. They're
But
corrupt.
you continue to provoke this lie.
It's corrupt. The people that, you gotta understand, the people that gave him the 32 felony counts, that were the people, the judges and all the people that were appointed, they were all Democrats. I mean, bro, doesn't that not sound rigged?
about somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing. There is no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea if you lose again, you accepting anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
Oh my gosh. I love how CNN is so smart, because this is the must-watch moments is what they put as this. But they want to end CNN, they wanted to end it right there as a Biden win because he got the last laugh right there. But just because it was the last laugh wasn't mean that it was the best laugh. And throughout the whole thing, he didn't really give one good policy, nothing, bro. Nothing. He was just backtracking, bro, nothing. I didn't realize that my camera ended up dying until the next day, so I had to record the end of this clip. But yeah, that honestly, that debate was insane. I mean, clearly Trump won that. And just how, on everything that he was talking about, man, he really was just on that. He was on point with the policies, on point with where the country is at right now, everything that's happening with the borders, you know, the Ukraine situation. Hopefully, I definitely want to see what's going to happen in the second debate. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to people's reactions, seeing what they're going to think about this. But yeah, y'all, that's that for my reaction. If you guys are new to this channel, make sure y'all subscribe. Pretty sure everybody's been subscribing, and I'll catch you on the second debate.